Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be carrying on with our page in Rita Berman's book. So we're going to make a start on these other houses today. So I'll zoom you in and then we'll get started. So the first colour that we're going to go in with is Peaches and Cream, and for this I'm going to start on the top of this little house up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this main bit in here, and this is like a really light colour. So I hope you guys enjoyed part one of this colour along. This is being posted on a Sunday, so for those of you that are wondering, every Sunday I will upload another part to this video. And then I'm going to do the same for this bit here so that it all matches. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. And then next, taking Apricot, which is a slightly darker colour, I'm going to start to add some shade to this. So for this bit of the roof, I'm going to start on the outside edges and just start to bring a bit of darker colour in. So I'm going to do like hard pressure here so that we get a really dark colour, and then I'll lift the pressure as we come into the middle. And then for this I'm going to darken up this side so that it matches, because we did the darker shadow on this side for these roofs. So we'll just go ahead and fill in this whole side with a bit more pressure, and then just sort of lift the pressure as you go over the middle line. Next, taking Pumpkin Orange, we're going to add some more orangey colour to this. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the roof on this top little piece here. And I'm just using normal pressure for this, so it's nice and bright. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in these little squares, well, sorry, triangles here. Next, taking Sunflower Yellow, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little window at the top. And I'm going to fill in this big window here as well. And then I think we'll go back in with Apricot, which was our slightly darker colour, and just go over these triangles that we've got here. And I'm just going back in with Amethyst Purple because I've realised I've missed a little bit of the sky here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. So next, taking Raw Sienna 301, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the house itself. So this is going to be our lightest shade. So I'm just going to go in with light pressure and just add this colour all over the house. Next, taking Raw Umber 302, which is a little bit of a darker shade, we're going to go ahead and add some shadow to this. So I'm going to darken up down here where this other house would be casting a shadow, onto this one. So this one I'm going to do with a bit more pressure down here. And then I'm just going to sort of lift the pressure as we go over and underneath the window. And then I'm going to do like a bit of a line here, just behind where the roof would be casting a shadow, and then just sort of lift the pressure to blend that out. Then I'm going to add some shadow underneath the roof, and again just lift the pressure as you come down. So going back in with Raw Sienna, I'm just going to go ahead and just, using light pressure again, just sort of go over this just to make sure that there's no white paper showing through. And then going in with our white, I'm just going to go over where we left the lighter colour, just to make sure that it's all blended together nicely. And then going back in with Apricot, we're going to fill in the little bricks on the side of the house so that this kind of matches the roof. And we'll just use a bit of pumpkin orange to add a little bit of shade to these bricks. So I'm just concentrating on the right hand side. Next I'm going to take Coral 203 and I'm just going to go over here where we've added this bit of shade, and I'm just going to darken it up because it's not quite as dark as I want it to be. So I'm just going to take that over and then again just sort of lift the pressure as you come over the central line. I'm going to do the same for this little bit up here, and I'm going to go over the shading that we did on the roof. And then just going back in with Peaches and Cream, I'm just going to go over the middle section again, just so that it blends together better. And I'll just go over this little bit here too. Okay, so next we're going to tackle this little lantern. So for this I've actually chosen silver, which is 701. Now this is one of the metallic pencils, so I thought we'd try this. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of where like the metal pieces would be. Next, taking Cloudy Grey, we're going to add some shade into this. So I'm going to go ahead and shade along the right hand side. Do a little bit underneath here where it joins onto the top part. And then I think we'll add a little bit of shadow to this top bit here and the right hand side. And then just lift the pressure as you come over. We'll do the same for this little top piece. Oops. And then we're going to go ahead and use Sunflower Yellow to fill in where the light's coming out. And then taking black, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more shadow to this. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm just using light pressure for this because it's really going to show up. And then just across this top line here and on this very right hand side. And again, you just want to use really light pressure. So you can see that's added a bit more shadow onto there. I'll just do a little bit along here. So next we're going to use Rose Red, and for this one we are going to do this little bit of a house that's peeking out here. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill him in. Next, taking dark chocolate brown, we're going to use this to add some shade to the red house. So I'm going to go ahead and shade underneath the roof line. So this little triangle at the top, I'm just going to go over completely. And then just do a line down and then just sort of lift the pressure again. So you don't want to use too much pressure on this because it will come up quite dark. So I'm going to do some shade in here as well where it meets this house on the side. And then a little bit in between here. And then just go back in with rose red and just go over all of that so that it blends together. I think I'll just add a little bit of shadow here on this roof because this bit would be in shade from this house, and then I'll leave that bit so it's in the light. So I'll just go over that with the red as well. And we'll use sunflower yellow again to fill in the little window. And I'm going to use the dark chocolate brown to do the window frame. So I'm just going to use normal pressure here and just completely fill this in. Okay, so next going in with Pear Green, we're going to make a start on this house here. So we're going to go ahead and do a base coat on the top here. And then this bit down the bottom I think we'll do in the Pear Green as well. Then taking matcha green, we're going to go ahead and add some shading. So I'm going to shade here under the window and under this little window here and underneath the roof and underneath this edge that we've got there. And then I'm just going to take this down the right hand side . And then for the little roofs, I'm going to go in with flamingo pink. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of the extra details with this. And then we'll go ahead and add some shading with a darker pink. And we'll do this top bit as well. So next, taking fuchsia 404, we're going to go ahead and add some shading. So I'm going to do a little bit of shading here where the lip joins. And just on the right hand edge. So next I'm going to add some shadow to this right hand side as well and just sort of bring that over, and I'll do a little bit up the middle one as well, and again for the roof. And then I'm just going to go in with the white quartz and just go over where we've left the lighter bits just to really lighten this up. And then going back in with sunflower yellow, we'll do the windows. And I've just noticed that we missed this little flag, so I think we'll do it red so that it matches the house. So I'll use rose red again and just go ahead and fill that in. And I'm not going to add any shade into that because it's only a tiny little flag, so we'll just leave that as it is. Next, taking periwinkle blue, we're going to make a start on this house. So I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat with the periwinkle blue. And then we'll go ahead and do the top bit as well. So next, taking sky blue, we're going to start adding some shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and shade where the roof meets the house because that would be a bit darker. And then just bring that down and lift the pressure. This right hand side, I think I'm going to darken it up and then just lift the pressure as it comes underneath the window. We'll do a little bit of shade here by the door and a little bit under this window. do some shading underneath here and on the right hand side of this window, and then all down the right hand side of the roof. And then again, just sort of lift the pressure as you come towards the middle. And we'll do the same for this little top piece here. So going back in with our white quartz, I'm going to go over where we left the lighter colour just to sort of blend this all together. Okay, I think that looks quite nice like that. So now we need to work out what colour to do the edge. I think we'll do it a darker blue. Okay, so going in with Egyptian blue, we're going to go ahead and do the outer edges of this house. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in using normal pressure. And going back in with sky blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the door itself. So we've got a nice blue door. And then going back in with sunflower yellow, we're going to fill in the windows. Next, taking amethyst purple, I'm going to go ahead and colour over this because I'm not quite sure what it's meant to be. So I'm just going to fill that in with the dark amethyst purple so it sort of becomes part of the sky. So we've got this one to do. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is fill the windows in with sunflower yellow to keep it all consistent. And this one. And this one here. And then I want to make this one match this big one that we've got at the back. So I'm going to go in with turquoise, and I'm going to start by adding a turquoise rim around this edge here. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in this line across here with the same colour. Okay, so next, taking peony pink, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the rest of the house. So I'm just going to use light pressure here, but get as much pink down as I can. Okay, so next, taking fruit punch, this is going to be our shadow colour. So I'm going to start to add in some shadows to this. So I'm going to go ahead and shade right underneath here where we've got this sort of greeny lip, because that would cast a bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to go down and along the right hand side and then just lift the pressure to blend that out. I'm going to add some underneath the window. And again, just lift the pressure to blend it out. So I'm going to do inside these little bits here because that would be darker. And then go along the bottoms of them. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this right hand side all with the darker pink. Underneath the window. So next, going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and go over the lighter parts just to blend it all together. So next, taking deep teal, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shading just to this top bit here. So I'm going to go just along the very right hand side edge and just darken it up in a few places, like so. And then I think we'll do the edges here so that it fades into a lighter colour in the middle. And I'll just darken up the bottom and the right hand edge of these windows. And then I'm going to use this colour to fill in these little bricks down here so that they're all a little bit darker as well. Okay, so next we're going to tackle this wall down here. So the first colour that I'm going to go in with is yellow ochre. This is going to be like our base shade. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in a base coat all over this, but I'm going to avoid the bricks that's on there. Then next I'm going to go in with Camel Brown A300, and this is a bit darker and a bit more brown. So I'm going to start by adding this to the bottom areas where the wall would be a bit darker. So I'm going to go around this lip here because it would be in shade from this house. Next, taking Earth Red, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little bricks on the wall. And I think we'll fill in these arches here as well, just so that it all matches. And next, taking cinnamon 304, we're going to try and add a bit more colour to this wall. So I'm going to go ahead and add like an extra brick here, and I'll do one up here as well. And then going back in with turmeric yellow, I'm going to go ahead and go over all of this. So all the colours that we've put in, just go over everything and then blend it all together. Using Camel Brown again, I'm just going to darken up the edges of this wall either side. Just leave the light bit in the middle. And I'm going to go over these red bricks as well because they look a bit too reddy. So next, taking our Posca pen, I'm going to go ahead and add some highlights to what we've done. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just go ahead and do little tiny lines over the windows. So it just makes it look like there's a bit more of a reflection coming from them. And I'm just going to go over the black lines as well. So we'll do some reflections in this one. There we go. Put a couple in there. I'm going to do a little white highlight on the edge there for that one. And down this edge here. Do the same for this one. And we'll add a highlight up here for this one. And a little one on the flag. This one I'm going to do a highlight here where the light would be catching the roof. And then I'm going to go over the windows. And we'll do one down here on the lighter side of the pink. I'll have a little one there as well. And then for the blue house, I'm going to add a highlight where we left the really light blue. And I'm just going to use a black pen, so you can use any black pen, and I'm just going to go over and outline these bricks so that they look a bit more similar to the ones that Rita's put in. Okay, so next we're going to tackle this little bit here. So for this I'm going to go in with amethyst purple because this was the darkest colour that we used on the sky. So I'm guessing that this is a little bit of sky and then we've got some water underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in with the amethyst so that it matches the sky that we've done above. So I'm just going to use normal pressure for this and just fill this all in. And I'll do the same for these two. And then taking our Posca pen, I'm just going to add a couple of little stars in there so that it looks like the night, the same as this bit. I'm just going to add a few here where I went over that and filled that in as well, and a couple here. Lots of stars. There we go. So next, going in with Ocean Blue 504, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the water parts that we've got under here. Okay, so next I'm going to take a white gel pen because you can get a bit more of a finer line, and I'm going to go ahead and go over the lines in the water to make it look a little bit more like water. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next Sunday for part 3.